Yo, Banter fam, what's happening? I see, wow, what a boring weekend. It was very boring. I hope you guys got a lot of rest. I told you guys just take some rest. The market's boring. The time will come again where we're going to get the right signs and then we're going to sort of know what to do next. It got very boring, like super boring, which was fantastic. I spent great time with the family. I spent great time with the little one. Which was really nice to actually, get out of the crypto for a few days. So I hope you guys all got some rest. And then we had a quick little drop off. Remember I was speaking about this buying volume. Remember we were hovering here and no buying volume. Like we just weren't getting that spike, that wick where we get that little wick. And then we actually see interest because we were dropping to interest zones. We were dropping to support zones, like, structural zones for Bitcoin where we really want, like, please bounce here. Like this is where we need you to bounce so we can keep going, so we can finally get to the 50K zone. And we just weren't getting the buying volume. And then what it took was a one little short wick lower than the previous low that we made last week. And all of a sudden, boom, we got buying volume. So that's great, guys. So for me, I have 3 top picks of altcoins for you guys today. I'm actually giving you a few more. But for me, the signs for short term for the next week or two now, I'm in again. I'm buying in, I'm putting my stop losses and we're going. I'm going to go through the views on Bitcoin. Let's have a look as our USDT dominance hit the resistance perfectly, which is giving us another sign of the previous leg. How great was it 3 weeks ago? How great was it to have 2 weeks of just beautiful greenness again and how the market started to flow great again? And now we're getting the same signs where we can have another one of those legs. Now, are we out of the range yet? Like maybe Bitcoin goes to 45, 48 again, and then straight back down to 39 again. And then we're in that for a little while. Main thing is I see 30, 40%. I see the range opening again, and I see signs of the similar leg of what we have recently, if not maybe bigger. And that's something we'll go through now shortly, guys. So no more wasting time. I hope you got lots of rest because you need to rest through the boring days so we can make money, we can kick ass together. So no more wasting time. Let's get out of bed and let's go. Oh, gotta love that song. Just gets me moving. As you can see, guys, Babyface Sniper is back. I decided to shave and I'm like, damn, like, wow, I look a lot younger than what I thought. What's up, guys? If you're brand new to the channel, make sure you absolutely will smith that like button, will smith the subscribe button to our normal community, to our my favorite community out there. What's up, guys? I hope you guys got rest, as I said, and I hope we're learning the lesson. We're going to have 2 weeks of greenness and beautiful times, and then we're going to have a week of redness. It's how the market works. We've got explosions to the upward side. We've got explosions to the downward side. Rest in the downward side. Don't waste your damn energy on the redness. Save that energy for the greenness because it does come at times, and we need to be aware of that. We mustn't be scared of anything. I think we've learned so much in the last few weeks, and we're going to continue with whatever the market brings us. Doesn't matter where it goes, we're going to rock it and we're going to kill it. So make sure you're following myself on Twitter, Sheldon_Sniper. Make sure you're following Kyle. He'll be coming on a little bit later in the show. Make sure on our website, make sure you're on all of our tools that we provided you guys. That's how we can communicate with you guys outside of the shows. So let's jump on. Let's get the volume down. I hope you all got your coffee. I hope you're all in a good mood as life is great. It actually reminded me this weekend, like, wow, like, what am I actually doing all this stuff for? You know what I mean? And spending time with the family, it realizes why we work our asses off every day. Don't forget that. And like I said, don't tire yourselves out. So guys, what I'm looking at, obviously, so Bitcoin did get the lower low on very short time frame, the higher low on the major daily, which I'll go through shortly. So that was a great check that we held that because we know we have very high time frame bullish divergence, which is a great sign. We know that dominance finally dropped the trend within the last few weeks. It went up for a simple retest. And now those RSIs are at the top, which means, they're ready to come down. And it's still in the same format of Bitcoin goes down, altcoins go down harder. Bitcoin goes up, altcoins go up harder. Like, we're in that phase where altcoins are still showing strength. And that's where, this didn't worry me so much. Now, it's getting quite tough to sit and pick those exact bottoms. You know what I mean? We're playing the whale game now. We're still in that crazy zone at this point. But ideally, at least we're starting to see that bigger picture. The altcoins would be so much weaker if this market was weak. And, you can just see how the fact that the dominance has been in that downtrend and it's showing to remain in that downtrend just shows us that, we need to stay focused here. Something's shifted in the last 3 months of that downtrend, and now we're in a new trend. So what basically happened was we finally got that little wick down. Yeah, we weren't getting the buying power. You see what I was talking about, guys? Like no real buying power. It was getting very boring. And all that it took over the weekend was a quick little drop off. And that's where we always, we're starting to get used to like, be picky for your prices, put those limit orders in. And when they deploy, we'll then manage risk and then we'll set where's our TPs. And, we can't see Bitcoin, maybe will it go to 60K next? Will it go to zones? We got zones or we can go to next. And we sort of got to train it day by day by getting those great entries, prepping the risk, and then getting ready for the next move. So all that it took was no interest here. Do you see how the big guys play the games here? Where they drop it off, they look if there's interest. If there's no interest, they drop it further back down. Is there interest? You see here where we drop, and then all of a sudden we go sideways. That's them dropping it to see, okay, is there interest here? Okay, there's not, okay, let's go cheaper. Then what happens? Go sideways, okay, let's go cheaper. Go sideways, okay, let's go cheaper. Until you get that, boom. Now we got interest. And this is great for them because then they can start driving it up and then retail come in the market. They start moving the market naturally again and they start looking at when they're going to start offloading. Now I feel the whales and the big guys have made so much money in this phase over here. And let me get it wrong. Like they've made so much Bitcoin and so much tokens in this stage because that's what the stage of the market we're at. This is a place where you can farm a lot of tokens by taking profits at points. And you can get great gains on your on your dollars because the range is so big. So this was great for me. It was great to finally see that, we got a little bit of a wick on the daily candle. So that was good. Remember, I spoke to you guys about the wick. There's the wick. You see the previous times, the wick. Last time we got the wick and we got some buying volume behind it, it was reversals. So we knew we got to our main trend line, and let's actually put that trend line in play there. We knew we got to our main trend line, but we're like, why are we not getting that strong volume? And it took another zone to come down. Now we're starting to get wicks. Now we're starting to get buying interest in the zone. And we are still holding the major trend, the momentum trend. We dropped that one last week. We then come down. That's why we've got to love these simple trend lines. And then we come to test the next one. And now we're starting to get interest, which is a great take. And then we look again and we're like, okay, look at dominance now. Dominance looking weak, lower low. It finally broke through the 200-day moving average. So that's a really big high time frame zone. The times we've dropped it, you could see how great it's been for the altcoins. So that's still intact. And then we got our USDT dominance chart, which will load up shortly. We are having a bit of power issues here within the thing. The power went off and reset all my charts just before the show. And then we had this, where we finally had the long USDT money season line. We were trending up. We broke up, we went and we tested it beautifully, and now that looks like a really good reversal candle for me. That looks good because now we got the wick to the upward side. So this is great. And what usually happens here, guys, is when we drop a support, first thing you want to see, we've dropped support now, we've dropped momentum, lower low, boom. Okay, great indication. Go up, test that as resistance, lower high, boom, great. RSIs, stochastic, boom, weakness to the downward side. So that's another great sign for us there now. And the third one was divergence. Do we have divergence? Lower high on the price action. And then we go look at the RSI, higher high. Bearish divergence. Great. Okay. So that's another good sign for us to say, okay, like don't cancel this move that we had recently off because we're starting to get the strong signs. And I'm looking at this leg being the same size as the previous leg, if not bigger. And in this leg, we saw the amount of gains we made in a week to 2 weeks. So we're getting there now, guys. We're getting to the point where these things are now exhausted now, and it's showing dollars are going to pump back into the market. So let's go in here. Let's go have a look at what I'm thinking at. I am jumping today. I'm sort of sitting on the 8-hour to the 12-hour looks on Bitcoin because for me, I wanted to track down. We're at an interest zone now, high time frame. We're on support now. So I want to start to track. Where are we? Let's actually see if I got my other chart here before I jump into this one. Okay, that one. Cool. So we did break this trend now, finally. Boom. On the 8-hour and 12-hour, we finally made the first higher high, which was fantastic. So what I'm looking at now is this was a simple test of, this was great volume and a breaker trend. Great. So I'm looking at Bitcoin short-term test here, just to get the 4-hour to the bottom as the stochastic's a little bit high. And for me, this is now deploying. I'm deploying now for a week to 2 week trade for now. It may be a trade that explodes and let's say Bitcoin does go to the crazy levels next, then we can see from that. But for now, this is my deploying time. It's my deploying time. It's my stop loss time. Put stop losses. I don't want to hear. I don't know how to put a stop loss. There's videos below. go look at my stop loss video. I'm going to give you guys the stop losses. But for me, this is my trigger points. I'm looking at the same gains as what we had previously, if not more. But for here, I'm looking now Bitcoin to come back again to 39.8 in that zone to the 40,200, 40,300. You know, a short-term pullback now, you know, basically test these previously little lows here on the trend line. And then I'm seeing us move now to the next zone of interest. Now, will it break this high yet? We will see, guys. We will see later on the week, you know, where our RSIs are and where we're at that sort of zone. But my first major zone is for Bitcoin getting back to 43 to the 44,000. That is my 618 from this zone to the bottom. Remember, you take your tool and you take it from other way, Sniper. You take it from top to bottom, and it gives you your zone or where you want to look at. And they call that the golden zone. And that's where I'm seeing that from here. This is still looking at the, not even the bearish view, but it's still looking at not the super bullish view. It's just a short-term bullish view of us coming here. Maybe we smash through it and we absolutely crush through the 200-day. We know that's a very important level for us. But for now, that's my zone. That's my main resistance there, around 44 to 43 to the $45,000 zone. And that's where I'm seeing the market go there in the short time frame within this week. So that's looking good for me. So Bitcoin, I'm looking to stock up there. I'm putting my stop losses under the previous low, as I feel that was a low we want to hold. We finally got buying volume there. I think we will get more buying volume when we come and test here now. We'll continue this momentum of the volume coming up, which is great. And then I'm looking at, okay, I'm in now, I'm putting my stop loss, and this is the next area. When we get there, we're going to look at a few things. When we get to the 44, 45,000, where are our stochastics? Where's that daily stochastic? Because for me, it's only just taken off. We knew we were in the zone, guys. This is why you guys always need to remember, when this gets to the bottom here, you want to say, okay, so the market on the daily is now showing that it's oversold. Let me go look where it is on trend line. Okay, it's still holding momentum line. So even though you want to try pick the exact bottom that it was 39 exact, it doesn't matter. You know that it was in the bottom phase. And now you can see how from here now, we are now starting to rally up. So this for me is showing me indication for the week to be good. We bounced good. We had bullish divergence. There's the lower low. There's the higher low on the chart. Bullish divergence, which is great. So that's looking good. So let's jump into some of the altcoins and let's have a look to what we're looking at. So we look at ETH. Now, ETH for me was great because it had massive bullish divergence. ETH is looking very strong, guys. It's looking really good. Here was the low there. There's a higher low. So we got the RSI is doing something different, giving us a little indication. We have the stochastic, which was at the bottom zone. It needed to just drop a little bit down. And you see, as soon as it goes down, you can see how we start to get volume. Now, this is volume. It's not crazy volume. It broke that trend on volume over there. But it's indicating that the next one can be even bigger volume. You know, we can sort of shift into the next move. So for me, ETH, what did it actually do on the normal chart is it held momentum beautifully. That was the first wave, normal retracement, and we can look at the next leg. We'll see how high the next leg will go, all depending on where Bitcoin goes next. But for me, it's load up zone for ETH. It finally started, you know, we've got Bitcoin breaking trend, we've got the dominance showing weakness, which is great. So for ETH, you know, my major zones, so I'm looking at a short-term pullback within today. It can be quick, something short-term. I'm talking 2%, 1%, like within the market. And for me, you know, my major buy zones for ETH now is $2,900 and $3,000. There's my stop loss under previous low. 2,830, just under that. I'm putting my stop loss in. Guys, put stop losses. Like, this is the major trend. The market has to hold this now. That's all we need right now. We needed to hold this. So let's prep for both. So I'm looking to buy in the zone. And from here, I'm looking at a rally back into the $3,400, $3,500 zone. You know, for me, 10, 15%, which is great. If I do look at the ETH BTC, like, you know, if Bitcoin goes through and it breaks through that 46, 48, in those sort of zones, you know, ETH's going to rip. You know, we can see ETH at $4,400 very quickly. This could have been a possible 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, it can definitely be at that sort of zone. So I'm prepping for both, as I said, with risk management. But for now, we got to focus on entries now. We'll focus on TPs later on in the week. ETH, definitely. I've been through this a few times, guys. Theta for me, boom. My zones are basically between $2.85 and $3. Great. Stop loss 2.74. So you can just see, guys, I'm getting the break of trends now. I'm buying in these zones on the retest, so short pullback as well. I'm putting my stop loss in play, and I'm looking at Theta now make its way to the 618 as my first target. You know, $3.7 as my sort of zone. Even look at that from where it is now, 25%. That's my first zone there. Now, MATIC, next one. MATIC broke trend. It's a broken 12-hour trend. Daily RSI, where are we looking? Boom, bullish divergence, where are we looking? Things are looking great there. So MATIC is another one of my top picks now, that this is where I want to stock it up more. I want to be loading between 1.35 to the $1.4 zone. Stop loss under previous low. Boom, I'm deploying. I'm looking at my next target of $1.6 to $1.7. 20% within that for now. But that for me, this is great because we're here again. This is where we are. What happened after that? There was gains. It came all the way back down, but there was gains. And we're at that same stage again of where all our RSIs and that are looking. So MATIC, great. And I remember, guys, I'm giving these short-term buys, short-term trades for a lot of you guys in these sort of zones. If you guys are in these tokens and stuff, like a lot of the market now, the fact that I'm looking at Bitcoin, short pullback and continuation, if I don't go through all the tokens that you're looking at, like, guys, for now, I'm holding my altcoins because they're showing strength. We will look later on the week. So it doesn't matter which ones. These are ones that are getting to buy zones and buys for me now. Ones I want to add now, ones I want to put stop losses in now. If you are already in the positions, I'll be still using the stop losses as we're at critical levels. But this is where we're looking to add now. We want to make money, right? We want to make money. So VET as well. VET, I'm looking at 5.7 to the 6 cent mark. This one's good for me. I'm looking at rally back up to these, to the region of 8 cents. So you look at that, that's 25, 30% on this move. So VET, great for me because this was the first leg. Guys, for me, this is bullish. Like, you got bullish divergence on that, and that was the retracement to that leg. You can be looking at a really strong, I've been speaking about the next leg, and we got to remember now that when we get after pullback, it does take a little bit of time in that zone, but the next leg looks big. It looks really, really good. So I'm buying in here. I'm putting a stop loss in. I'm getting ready for it. So VET definitely, we're speaking about ThorChain, which is starting to take off now. It sucks. I want to do the show earlier sometimes, but I know in the US, the time doesn't work. But we look at ThorChain here now, broke trend. That was the leg. Does that look bearish to you? Does that look strong as hell to you? That looks very strong for me. And I'll be looking, where can I add in more of ThorChain? So for me, I'm buying between 7.6 to the 8.2 mark. So on that short-term little pullback, I'm putting a stop loss under low, and I'm looking at this to go hunt down that $12 to $13 again. Great gains. You're looking at another 50% within RUNE. The range is big. I'm taking advantage of that. I'm not prepping too far for the future, and I'm not prepping too far. Like, I'm putting my risk, but this looks great for me. This looks really good. We got Immutable X. This looks good, guys. Good tail candle on the daily, which is something you always want to see. And now we're looking at a point of getting an entry between 1.66 to 1.76. I'm buying here. I'm looking at $2.4 as my next target. So for me, it's looking 20, 25% for this trade. And I got a stop loss just under 1.56. Great. Prepping for both. I look at this. Strong leg up. Simple retracement. Guys, we're making higher lows. Higher lows usually indicates higher highs. That's what I'm prepping for right now. So we can see that clear. So Immutable X. I then have RSR, which is a great range token. I don't like this token for investment because it makes my account go like this and then like this and like this and like this. I don't like that. But when it comes to range and making money, it looks great for me. So I'm also looking at that come to the region of 1.25 cents to the 1.32 cents. I'm loading up more there as I'm looking at my next target at 1.8. So, I look at percentage and range wise, I'm looking at 40% to the upward side here. I got a stop loss under the previous low at 1.2. So I'll make this bigger for you guys so you can pause them on the YouTube so you can see them yourselves. Remember, I do have this all. Everyone keeps asking, well, can't you go through all the tokens on the show? I can't, guys. It's just like, otherwise I'm here for 3-hour shows every day. But CoinPanel has all of it. You can see dots in my buy zone now, stop loss there, TPs are there. So if you want a trading tool to get all of my trades all the time and all the updates, CoinPanel is that, guys. Then Fantom. I think it's time. Guys, I think it's time. I've been talking about Fantom and I'm not ready yet and it's not crazy for me yet. I think it's time for Fantom. I think we're getting really big buy interest here. We're back at the lows again. You remember I was saying anywhere between $1 is great for me. And right now it's still that. It's 1.02 to the $1.12 range. For me, this is good. I'm looking at this, we look at the RSIs on where they're sitting. We got the stochastic just starting to point to the upward side. I'm looking at us finally breaking the downwards trend for Fantom on this next push up. It showed really good strength here. And then pullback, and now I'm looking at the next leg up, and I'm looking at to go back to the region of 1.6 to 1.7 for now. but this is the zone that I want to buy it. Finally, for me, it's cheap enough now. So I'm loading up more Fantom here. If you're holding Fantom, a stop loss under $1 zone, if you're buying now and you're holding, like, I think that's a safe play, as this is the support, guys. This is where Fantom must hold. If not, it can come down 60 cents. Now, I don't think it's going to go there anymore. I think this is where I want to load up. This is where I'm willing to take more. I'm prepping my risk, and I'm looking at this. So this one's one of my favorites. I think this is really a top pick. I think it's going to do really good. So Fantom, definitely. Let's go to Ultra. Now, Ultra showed a massive push within volume. It showed a great volume spike, a great volume bar push to the upward side. It broke trend on that time. And now I'm looking for the simple retest. I'm looking at the simple retest of $1, call it 98 cents to the region of $102. That's my buy zone. And from that, I'm looking at us push up to the $1.2 to the $1.4 zone. From here to the high, I think Ultra now, this is interest that I want to buy. I think we're buying at a great price. We're buying on a break a trend now. And obviously, Bitcoin's giving me the views that I want to see. So stock just crossing up now. That's great. Guys, we're at that point again. We're going to get buys. And by the time the weekend comes, this market takes off and we get the movement we want, you're not going to have buys. So you're either buying now or you're waiting for 2 weeks again. Like, that's sort of how this game works. We then have Luna. I know there's a lot of guys talking about Luna. As Luna gave a really good, strong spike. That's a good volume spike. I'm glad we started to get patience on buying more of Luna because we could see how it started to lose momentum. I'm still sort of looking at it do something in the region of this, which I will give you guys a second view of my Bitcoin, just reminded me. But I'm looking at it do something like this, then the low, and then the continuation. So I'm definitely not selling my Luna. I think it's great at the zone. I was looking for where I can buy more, and I still have the zone of $65 to the $75 as my true, really ape zone for Luna. And remember, my target still on this next leg, we nearly got there in 120, is the 140 zone. For now, is what we're looking at in Luna. So yeah, that's looking pretty good. I wanted to see my different views on Bitcoin. So remember, guys, look here. Bullish divergence. We can see that very clearly on Bitcoin. That's great. I just want to go through. There we go. So these are my sort of views on Bitcoin. So you could see I said the same thing with Luna now. Shoot up, down, and push. That's sort of what I'm looking at as two of my options, where we go to the 44, possibly back to 40 again, and then the push through. We'll see where we get there, but this is sort of what I'm sticking with for now. I'm looking at Bitcoin go from here to 44, 45, possible pullback back to 40, which now just gives me a view. It gives me a view, okay, I'm buying now. I got 30, 40% gains to be making on these next trades. And I'm going to look for some sort of TP strategy because it looks, the way we look at the charts here, it looks like Bitcoin will come back here at some stage again. So I'm prepping for that. It's a great time to make some money, you know what I mean? And then look to get back in the market. So while I'm on that, let's get the man himself. Kyle, what's your chart telling you, brother? What are we looking at?
Sheldon, yeah. So I'm seeing, again, similar things to you. I love your daily chart with the possible W pattern playing out. That would be incredible to see. But this is what I'm looking at. So this is a 4-hour chart, by the way, of BTC. So this is simply just tracking the low highs and the low lows throughout. You can see that things have started to slow down a little bit in this region, which could be a possible sign of a reversal, but I'm not willing to front run that sign yet. So I post on my Twitter, this is the sort of setup that I would expect from a bullish scenario. If price was able to clear this area over here, which these highs are sitting at $41,363. If you can close above that, I would imagine price could push straight into the next resistance at about 43K. I would wait for the pullback and the retest of that horizontal area. So this, what was resistance, or what still is currently acting as resistance, I would want to see that area flip into support. I would buy this area over here. So now that's one scenario. The other scenario of what could happen is price could still create another lower high, hence I've got a question mark over there, and it could come back down. If you want to be an aggressive buyer, as you can see, the stochastics are coming down. The other momentum oscillators are also likely to turn back down soon. What you could be looking at is this zone over here. So as long as you're able to stay above this level over here, that could be your potential next buying area. So something like this. Set your stop loss underneath over there. So manage your risk, of course. You'd have your next stop loss underneath the wick. If you cross that wick, you know we're going much lower. So the closer you can get to buying near that wick, the better your risk to reward level. So watch for that area. If we do pull back today and you want to be an aggressive buyer, that's what I would be looking at. Otherwise, I personally am just sidelined because I'm a little bit more conservative. I want price to prove that volume kicks in and we can push up above over here. And I know there will be a pullback from there. Where that comes, what level that comes at, I'm not too worried about. At the end of the day, I sold at 47K and I'm just sitting patiently. So it all depends on how you as a viewer have played the market. It depends on where you last bought or sold. So that's one view that I have on Bitcoin at the moment. I know a lot of people be looking at this. So this was a beautiful daily close that we had. So of course, price was sitting way down there. I know you can also draw a trend line connecting these wicks over there. So it didn't quite make it to the next bottom, so it could have come a little bit further, but still you have the daily close within that trend. So if we do line up with the other chart that I just showed you, again, you want to clear this level here. If you can clear that level, so something like that, come back down, retest that, I would go very, very long right over here. So that would be the next zone that I would be looking at and how I'm playing the market. And with regards to altcoins, I'm playing it exactly the same way. I'm treating Bitcoin as my ultimate litmus test to see kind of what the market's doing, because as we know, when Bitcoin goes down, altcoins go down much harder. So I don't want to see this level get lost. If we lose that, you will have another chance to probably resell there, but then it could get ugly very, very quickly. So that's on the daily chart. And then, of course, we can bring up the crowd favorite, which is the moons. So we got the bull moon over there. And I told the viewers on Twitter over the weekend, because they're all messaging me, everybody was like, I thought it's bull moon on the 16th. What's happened? Nothing happened. We've sold off. And I said, just be patient. Sometimes it does print and price will react a day or two either before or after. So in this case, so far, so good. It looks like, I mean, if we can close the daily candle anywhere above here, that would be strong. You have your RSI stochastic busy turning up. And this could be good to at least take you to, if we take a fib retracement level, right, let's just put on the magnet so I can get it accurate, to, let's say, at least to the 0.382. Hopefully we even get to the 618, which I know you mentioned as well, that golden zone. And that can be a pretty big move, especially if you're in altcoins at the moment. What would that be on Bitcoin? That's going to take you up another 9%. Some altcoins will do 30% off of that. Now, I think of the traditional markets, those guys are making 8% per year. You can do 30% in just a couple of days. So I'm watching that.
Consistency. It doesn't matter the market, whether it will be bull accumulating in these zones. There's no better market to make money than crypto, and there's no better market to lose your money than crypto. So it's
exactly 100%. So you have to manage your risk, and those portfolio management strategies that you've taught on your previous shows are of course fantastic. I think that's really the bread and butter, right? We trade to try and add additional revenue into those portfolios. That's the point of why we're trading. Looking at this is again just a revisit of the 21 weekly EMA. So we are currently still caught below with it turning down. So from a long-term perspective, I only feel very comfortable being 100% invested. As I've mentioned before, when this is turned up and price is above it. So you really want this angled up like that. If this can start turning up and price is sitting anywhere in these regions above, I'll feel more comfortable to be long-term invested. At the moment, I'm treating it more like a bit of a day trader, like scalps. I'm in positions. I'm just in my positions, in and out, close at the end of the day and take it from there. I know that creates a little bit of a tax dilemma, but I'll cross that road when it comes. And then let's have a look at the last chart that I'll have to show is, let's look at this one over here. So in the beginning of this week, the MACD crossed red. It was so bearish, which of course we want this histogram to start turning back up. And in order to get that, we need price to really start clearing that 43, 44K resistance. It has gone green again. We will only know where this histogram will close at the end of this week because it is on a weekly chart. So typically I marked out before that anytime that these turn green, you're looking at bullish momentum moves for between 3.5 to 4 months, which would be amazing. That's basically the rest of the quarter. So if this had to cross down, then it would be invalidated. I would look at that as one of the outliers in the shorter term bull trends. And again, you have the key quarterly levels. The thing that I have to make viewers aware of is that range traders will be targeting the bottom of this range. That's just simply how they work. Their focus, they work in diagonal lines, in horizontal lines like that. And what they'll be looking at is this area as a deviation. So up above, and they'll be targeting that next level over there. So for the long-term trader, there's no point in, if you're sitting on the sidelines with bags of stable coins, there's no point in deploying over here. And the reason why is because you're currently sitting in no man's land. You're right in the middle, right? You're in the middle of the range. So either wait to see what happens when we get here, if we reject off this region and come back down, or if we get above, then you can start going long for the top of the range. And yeah, that's it. That's what I'm looking at.
Thank you, brother.
So
appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks, bro.
Let's do it. We'll be with everyone throughout the week and we kick ass together, bro. Best duo on the internet. Best tier duo ever.
I love it.
Cool, brother. Thank you so much, bro.
See you on the next one, bro.
Cheers, brother. Let's get him off there. Carl, I'll push it. There we go, guys. One thing I do want to remind you, you do have a free indicator and every single one of you have them. It's called YouTube. The last time, see, we got 4,200 live viewers here. The last time we had this is great, guys. Like, use this because it's phenomenal. Last time we had 4,000 live viewers, we were here. Then we had 5,500 to 6,000 live viewers, we were here. Now we're here again and we got 4,000 live viewers. Remember I said it last time. I said, in 2 weeks' time, we're going to be back at 6,000 to 7,000 live viewers. That's FOMO. It is retail. That's how you think. So it's another little indication for you. Remember where you're at. And when you were here the last time, remember what happened next. So it's just a nice little cheeky YouTube indicator, which we should use very much. When the influencers and the guys, their views are a lot higher, retail are in. And when they're lower, they've always signaled really good buying zones. So just have a look at that as well, guys. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow. Let's kick ass. We're getting signs. I'm buying the market. I'm putting a damn stop loss, and I'm getting ready for the next move. Will Bitcoin break 50K? Maybe. I have my first target, and we'll take it from there. Guys, have a great day. Get lots of rest, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Much love, Vance fan.